Hello y'all, and welcome to YoungFolk Knits. It is Tour de Fleece, which means spinning is in full force. All the beautiful fiber braids are everywhere. If you are a spinner, maybe all the inspiration is hitting right now. If you're not a spinner, maybe this month you're really interested in starting because you're seeing these beautiful skeins of handspun everywhere. But what do you do with your handspun once you have it? Do you put it on a shelf and look at how beautiful it is? Or do you knit with it? I've curated some of my favorite patterns that I think lend themselves perfectly to using your handspun. So stick around and we will jump right in. Hello y'all, and welcome back to YoungFolk Knits. My name is Casey, and on this channel I love to chat all about my love of fiber arts. So a lot of knitting, spinning, sewing, and whatever else we might get up to around here. I also occasionally share about living on a small farm here in Arkansas where my husband, myself, and our children are beekeepers. We love gardens and animals and chickens and goats and spending time outdoors here in the foothills of the Ozarks. So if any of that sounds like it might be your cup of tea, then make sure and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on any future video content. Today, however, is all about knitting patterns that are perfect for your handspun. It is now officially the start of Tour de Fleece, which means you're probably seeing handspun skeins, fiber braids, puffs of fluffy coned top everywhere you look. If you are a spinner, maybe you're going through your stash and pulling stuff out. If you're not a spinner, maybe you're feeling very inspired. Especially as a new spinner though, I find that a lot of times you're spinning for the sake of spinning itself, and you maybe even acquire a large stash. What do you do with them? We love yarn, we love to knit, we love to crochet. So I think it's even more special whenever you can use your handspun in a project. It can be hard though, because handspun is not always that perfect consistency. It's not always a solid color. It's often, beautiful variegated colors, tonals, tweeds, combo spins from different braids which have totally different colors in it, and this can make it a little bit of a chore to find the perfect pattern to use it in. Let's take the guesswork out. I've done the research for you. Here are some patterns that I think would work perfectly for your handspun. All right, now I have created a bundle on Ravelry which has many patterns that I think are great for handspun. I will link that entire bundle in the description. I'm not going to be able to chat about all those patterns though, so make sure and click that link and take a look at them, because if there's not the perfect one that I chat about in this video, maybe there's one in the bundle that will meet your needs for the perfect use for your skein. All right, let's start small and go big. By that, I mean patterns that only use maybe one skein of handspun. I know I have quite a few single skeins, especially if you have a monthly fiber subscription. You're going to get a different colorway every month. So maybe you spin it up by itself, with itself. And what do you do with all these single skeins? All right, here's a few patterns that will work. First of all, I want to share about a group of patterns that I'm sure all of you have heard of, and that is the pressed flowers patterns, which are by Amy Christoffers. I personally love all of the pressed flowers patterns, and I think a great one to use for maybe one of those single skeins of handspun, especially even an early skein that you don't really have perfected yet on consistency and twist, it needs a little help maybe. I understand. I think that the pressed flowers hat is a perfect option. The reason why is because you can do it with one skein of handspun for your contrast color. Then you can choose a skein of mill spun, ready to go, perfectly consistent, perfect plies, lots of bounce, and a very balanced piece of yarn. You can put this with your handspun and use the ready to knit with yarn that you have purchased previously as your main color. Using your handspun as your contrast color in this situation is going to work out beautifully. The main color is going to give your fabric some lovely consistency. It will hide all manner of sins in your handspun, and it's a great way to use up your single skeins. I think this is the perfect pattern. Also, it's just really cool. I love this pattern. I love this fabric. I love the endless options that you can have. High contrast, low contrast. The variations that you get in handspun when using variegated fiber, which turns into variegated yarn, I think makes for a really pretty flower background. So this pattern has little flower motifs, and I think that variegated yarn you get from your handspun is gonna just look perfect. It's gonna really add to the vibe of this pattern. Another hat option I think would be perfect is by Tiff Nealon, and it is called the Winter Farm Toque. The Winter Farm Toque. I want to say Toque, but I know that's not right. As you'll notice, again, this has multiple yarns. She did choose to use Spin Cycle Yarns Dream State, so that is a worsted compared to the sport weight that the previous pattern called for. And this is a great use for a 3-ply yarn. So maybe you chain plied, maybe you just did a traditional 3-ply. That's going to usually give you a nice worsted weight yarn. And the great thing with this is that, again, you can use a main color with handspun. If you have some solid tonals, beautiful. But great way to, again, hide all manner of sins in your inconsistent handspun, which I just want to say, I love inconsistent handspun. I love thick and thin. This is not a knock on that. This is saying if your fabric is not going to turn out exactly the way you want it because you're not getting super consistent results yet, that's okay. You can still use your handspun, pairing it, again, with a main color that is mill spun or ready to knit with yarn you buy. It's very consistent, it's very balanced, and it is going to make all the difference in your fabric. So this hat, I think, is another great option to do that with. All right, not just hats though, lots of different accessories are so great for handspun. Another one is a pattern by Caitlin Hunter, and I know I'm butchering this because I'm not entirely sure how to say it. Ulu Mitts? Ulu Mitts? I'm gonna go with that. You can correct me if you know the proper pronunciation. This uses Brooklyn Tweed Shelter in her original sample, Wool Local Quinton Cole Owl. So it's a worsted weight gauge. Again, great use for either a 3-ply or a thicker 2-ply. I love how it is incorporating that color work. So you can add in some yarn you have in your stash ready to knit with, and it's going to balance that fabric out beautifully. But this is a great way to use up some single skeins of yarn for your contrast color, and it's going to use so little that I think you could use a single skein for 2 pairs of mitts. And I really love how it has that corrugated ribbing because it's just more of an opportunity to show off the beautiful color variations in your handspun. It comes in 3 sizes, women's small, medium, and large. So you can make some for the entire family. You use a US 7 or 4.5 millimeter needle. It's worsted weight. You're only using 100 to 150 yards of yarn. This is just a great little stash buster for your handspun. There has recently been a new book, which is 52 Weeks of Accessory from Lana Publishing, and it has some amazing options to use for your handspun. One I really love in this accessory category is the Rona Ms. So this is by Suzanne Summer, and it uses a sport weight gauge. So for me, my gauge that I just sort of fall into ends up being a 2-ply sport weight, and that is perfect for a lot of these patterns. This one you can use 2 different colors, and I think that more of a tonal yarn would look lovely in this pattern instead of the more highly variegated barber pole. Now that may look good, and that may be more of your jam, and I think that will still work lovely in this pattern. I personally like the stark lines and geometric patterns in this, and I think it lends itself well to a more solid color. So it does call for 2 different colors. It comes in 3 sizes. So it looks like you need 142 yards at most in 2 different colors. So that's pretty, this looks like a very cute little fingerless mitts option. I think that it could work up quickly. It could be a great way to use 2 different skeins in your handspun stash and come out with some lovely accessories that you can admire as you look at your hands all day. Okay, let's move up to some accessories closer to your face. And speaking of your face, when you're wearing these gorgeous handmade accessories, I know we all like our skin to look its best. And that brings me to the sponsor of today's video. I am a huge fan of the Swedish skincare company FOREO. I absolutely love their different devices. One of them I have recently been using every day is the FOREO UFO3. The UFO3 is a facial deep hydration device, which can make all the difference in your skin. It actually uses full spectrum LED to deeply hydrate, massage, and revitalize your skin in just 2 minutes, which is perfect for me because I'm a busy mom and I don't have loads of time to spend on my skincare. But in those just 2 minutes, it uses 5 clinically proven technologies and treatments to really give you those anti-aging results. So it uses thermotherapy, which is the heat. It uses cryotherapy, which is the cooling, T-sonic massage. It actually uses pulsation, which really gets the treatment down into your pores. They also have a wider range of different masks that you can choose to use with this device. I have extremely sensitive skin. I often have very dry skin, so I chose some that really focus on helping with those areas. The one I used today was the Acai mask for some nice smoothing results. It has that hyper infusion, which really helps the active ingredients in your mask to absorb deeper into your skin, which is where they're gonna work the best. So in just those 2 minutes, you're gonna get a lot of moisture and hydration. Your skin feels like a baby's bottom. It's so smooth. In 1 week, you're gonna see a reduction in wrinkles. I love that there's an app you connect it to. You feed in all the information about your personal skin type and skin issues, and it comes up with a routine for you. All you have to do is press start and enjoy the massage, though it feels so nice on your face, and it takes all the guesswork out of it. The app will figure out what you need and make it happen. If you're interested in trying out this amazing Swedish skincare from FOREO, then you can click on the link in my description and that will give you 30% off the UFO3. I really do enjoy it. I am very excited for the anti-aging and hydration results.
And I'm so excited because FOREO is currently celebrating their 11th anniversary, which means the first 50 people to use the link in my description will get an additional 11% off by using the code YoungFolk11.
Thank you so much, FOREO, for sponsoring today's video. All right, let's chat about some accessories to wrap around our necks. Another pattern that I have fallen in love with from the 52 Weeks of Accessories book from Lana Publishing is called Alton. Now, this is by Martha Wissing, and it uses the Fiber Company Lore, which is a DK weight yarn. So again, you're using 2 contrasting colors, 2 different yarns, and I just think there's so many options here. I think this is great for a nice tonal yarn that you have spun up in your hand spun. So these are 100 gram skeins, and for the main color, you're gonna need 2. And for the contrast color, you would need 1 of your 100 gram skein. Or perhaps you would like to use a a ready to knit with yarn that you have purchased for your main color, and then use one skein of your handspun for the contrast color. I really, really like how when it's wrapped around you, it almost gives an entirely different look than whenever it's laid flat. But those geometric patterns with the high contrast yarn just look really, really beautiful. I think this would be a great opportunity to not only knit something for yourself, but knit a gift pattern for someone using your handspun. How special. You don't have to worry about sizing because it is an accessory to wrap around your neck. So it's going to be a one size fits most. It's a gift you've knit, but not only that, you have spun yarn from scratch here. I mean, talk about the upping the special factor. I mean, not only do they have to be knit worthy, they've got to be spin worthy here. Another pattern I have been ogling is the Fogline shawl. This is a pattern by Brianne Moody, and it was originally knit up in Spin Cycle Yarns Dream State and the Farmer Daughter Fibers Pishkin DK. Both of these yarns give more of a light worsted than a DK weight vibe. So any light worsted weight yarn is going to work out great. Also, the fact that this is a shawl, you don't have to worry too much about meeting gauge, so anything in your handspun is probably going to work out all right. I love, love, love how these multiple different yarns work together to create just some absolutely beautiful results. I think this would be a great opportunity too if you have quite a few different handspun skeins. They don't have to be the same colorway. You can use lots of different single skeins and sort of just line them up in your shawl, and I think that the gradual change from color to color would be beautiful. And then you could use a main color of either your handspun, or again, I love throwing in that ready to knit with yarn you've purchased, or wherever that nice balanced tonal or solid color I think could look really good paired with your handspun. This uses a US 7 4.5 millimeters, and it does require about 1,300, almost 1,400 yards in the end of yarn. So you could use that by pairing multiple colorways together, and it would be a great way to use up a lot of those single skeins. All right, another fun cowl I really, really like is the Same But Different, which is a pattern by Cheryl Faust. So this uses Spin Cycle Yarns Dream State, which is a worsted but can be paired with DK, and then it is paired with DK, the Harrisville Designs Daylights. So I think this would be great to use the contrast color for your handspun and use, I actually would love to use Harrisville Designs Daylights, which I do have in my stash. It's a lovely Cormo yarn. It's just, oh, it's heaven. It really is beautiful, bouncy, and special fiber base. But I think that this is such a lovely geometric pattern. It's so pretty with the blues and the orangey rusty colors. I can see so many different options here. It is again mosaic knitting, which I think works so well for handspun, and you find often in patterns that many people end up utilizing their handspun. Mosaic is such a great option. Just so many. I wish I could talk about them all. Check out this bundle. There are quite a few in there I think you're gonna like. But for now, let's move on to a few sweaters or pullovers that I really like. First on the list is the Warp and Weft Raglin. This is a pattern by Jessie Made Designs, and it uses Spin Cycle Yarns Dream State and Ritual Dyes Elder. Both of these are worsted weight yarns. So I would again recommend replacing the Dream State yarn with your handspun, and then you could use a ready to knit with yarn that you have in your stash for the main color, which is used in the hems and the raglan shaping, the collar. I think that nice contrast of the solid with the beautiful variegation of the Dream State just looks so lovely, and it's going to give that really nice balanced fabric yet again. This pattern comes in sizes extra small through 5X, which fit a chest measurement of 28 inches to 60 inches. So there should be something for a wide range of bodies in this pattern. And you are going to be using up your main color. Let's see. For the main color, you need anywhere from 500 to 950 yards. That's your solid color. And then your handspun, if you use for your contrast color, you would need anywhere from 425 to 900 yards. So I think this is a really lovely raglan shaping pullover to use that handspun in. All right, a circular yoke that I think would be really lovely is this sea glass sweater, which is a pattern by Wool and Pine. This is actually not mosaic knitting, if I understand correctly. I think that this is 1x1 stranded color work, which is really easy, especially the way that this sweater is knit up. I mean, 1x1, this is a great beginner color work sweater. This comes with sizes of a bust from 33 inches to 68 inches. It also has a schematic and a custom fit video tutorial, which I think is really nice and can really increase your understanding of sweater fitting by itself. I think Wool and Pine designs are just so nice. They recently released a cardigan in this same 1x1 color work, the sea glass cardigan. I did snag that up immediately. I think these patterns are such great stash busters because the nature of the 1x1 color work, I think it's nice to have a solid background color, but then I think you can even sub in different contrast colors all throughout to really get that stash busting usefulness, but also it's just this fun color shifting scrappy look, which I think has place in a wardrobe. I really like it. And the next sweater I want to share is a very beautiful textured sweater. So textured fabric also hides all manners of sins when it comes to handspun, which is absolutely great to utilize in your fabric. This does use two different colors. This is the Anjou pattern by Skeiny Dippin' and by Skeiny Dippin'. Okay, I just got that. And it is in the Pom Pom Quarterly issue 47. It's a worsted weight gauge, and it uses, is it mosaic knitting? Oh, I feel like it is mosaic knitting. It's basket weave pattern. And you're going to use two different colors. You could get totally different looks with this, whether you went high contrast or low contrast. They definitely went low contrast, two different colors in two different tones in the same color base. And I think that's a really fun look. I like that a lot. It really just emphasizes the texture. Okay, it says that it is worked seamlessly from the top down in the slip stitch colorwork pattern. The back yoke is shaped using short rows and worked flat. So yes, this does look like a drop shoulder pattern. It's just really nice. I like it a lot. It's something I would like to knit. Pom Pom has unfortunately gone out of business, but you can still purchase the patterns on their website for sure. And you may be able to purchase the book at the 50% discount if it's still available. It was the issue 47. One more sweater pattern that I think would be fabulous in handspun, especially if you do a dedicated sweater spin. So you sample, you've got enough fiber all in the same tonal or solid color, and you're spinning to knit this sweater. I think it would just be lovely. So what you really need is a DK weight yarn, so somewhere in that area. And you're going to need anywhere from, let's see, anywhere from 1,100 to 2,000 yards, depending on the size you make. Now, this is the Clay Sweater by Haley Smedley from Ozetta. The sample used Wool Dreamers La Rinconada, but I think, again, this would just be so lovely in a sweater spin. I think that the nice texture throughout is going to hide a lot of inconsistencies in your yarn, but I think it will also, in a solid color, let that texture shine. It has a nice oversized fit, drop shoulder. It just looks like a cozy, snuggly, warm sweater to wear every day. And you knit this up on a 5mm or a US 8 needle. And I don't think that this would be too difficult of a sweater to knit up. It looks like a pretty basic drop shoulder. But I really just think this is such a lovely pattern. You know what? Actually, I got to throw one more in. Knitting for Olive, I believe, is soon to be releasing a unnamed sweater, which my Tour de Felice spinning team has been chatting about. And I am actually on the team Force Felice, which we started last year. Anna from Brook Willow and Mega from Skeins of Dreams and Bella from 100 Acre Wool. And now we've got a lot of people on our team, which I think is really fun and really cool. But Maya from What Maya Made on Instagram and Emily Curtis from Chaotic Knits, Bridget and Marlene Knits. They've all been chatting about making this new sweater from Knitting for Olive in some handspun yarn, and I think that they had the best idea. I think it's a great sweater to really let the yarn shine when you finish a sweater spin with handspun. And I have not decided for sure. I may knit a sweater out of that, or I may actually do the DRK Everyday sweater. I'm trying to pick between the two, but I don't have a lot of details about this sweater since it has not been released as far as I know. Marlene from Marlene Knits, she is the sweetest. She actually printed stickers for our team and she sent them to us, and I absolutely love it. I'm going to put it on my water bottle to chug while I spin during Tour de Felice. But I am going to be spinning up some very special fiber, which is actually called YoungFolk Knits. So Yarn Jam, Trisha, she's an amazing dyer. If you haven't checked out her fiber yet, absolutely need to. But she has designed a color for a few of her favorite podcasts. Marlene is one of them, Emily Curtis is one, and she did one for me as well as a few others. And this is the tweed base. So it's an 89% natural US merino Rambouillet blend. And then it has this lovely tweeds, which I think are just so much fun. I told her, you know, green's my favorite color. She came up with some really earthy, beautiful green bases. And we chatted and she added some lavender in for me, which I think just made the perfect YoungFolk Knits color for me and what I love. And I am going to be doing a sweater spin. So I've got 4 braids on the tweed base, which I will show you. And then I also have this color on a wool base without the tweed. And what I'm going to do is a 3-ply. And that way I'll have just some nice light tweedy bits in with the 3-ply. So I need to decide between this new Knitting for Olive sweater and a DRK Everyday sweater or something along those lines. I want something a little bit more simple. It may depend on if the Knitting for Olive sweater is available or not whenever I finish. But I am so excited. Trisha's going to have this color available soon. I'm going to link her store in my description so you can check it out and see all of the lovely colors that she has. But this one is coming very soon. I cannot wait. I just think she did such a phenomenal job of capturing colors that I love and are all around me. Thank you, Trisha. Absolutely beautiful job. All right. Please, if you have a favorite pattern to knit in handspun, let us know. We need all the ideas we can get. I really appreciate it. If you put a pattern that you love in the comments, I will try to add those into the bundle on Ravelry so that whenever others check out this bundle, they'll just be more and more constantly added to it for some handspun knitting inspiration. Not only knitting though, I think handspun lends itself beautifully to crochet. I'm not as familiar with different crochet patterns though, but please feel free to offer crochet pattern inspiration as well, and I will add that also because We are multi-craft-jewel. We love it all. I'm constantly in need of inspiration for new projects. Thank you so much for being here with me today. If you are interested in trying out FOREO skincare, then you can click the link in my description for 30% off. And the first 50 people will get an additional 10% off by using the code
YoungFolk11.
I hope that you have found some spinning inspiration. If you are spinning this tour de fleece, happy spinning to you. If you enjoy videos like this, then please give them a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on any future content. And until next time, happy knitting, y'all.